Stop whatever you're doing right now. Listen to me, Virgo, you did not click on this video by chance. The exact frequency of what you are living right now pulled this message to your screen. I can feel the weight you have been carrying in silence, that exhausting sensation that whenever you take a huge step forward, an invisible anchor tries to pull you back. But what I'm about to reveal will break that cycle completely. And you need to hear this before the day ends. You are the Virgo who always gets stuck right at the finish line, doing everything perfectly, only to watch the opportunity slip away at the last second. This leads you to hide your own brilliance just so you won't attract more setbacks. You are the silent architect who builds the strongest foundation in absolute silence, while everyone else gets the credit for the beautiful house. You do the heavy lifting, you make sure it is perfect, but when the ribbon is cut, you stay in the shadows to avoid the greedy looks. But hiding the architect does not protect the house, it only invites thieves. For years you have been a house with no doors, where any heavy look could enter. You thought this sudden urgency and the feeling that everything is stalling just before the finish line was just your anxiety or bad luck. But the universe calls it a karmic window opening, exposing the spiritual envy that has been silently holding you back. And you must recognize and cut this invisible siege right now, before this cosmic window closes. You will discover why everything seems to freeze exactly when you are about to win. You will learn to identify the exact moments when an invisible energy tries to drain your strength. You will understand how to raise a shield that bounces every heavy look back to its sender. You will see how this specific moment is your cosmic green light to move forward. And before this message closes, I will tell you one sentence about your life that you will carry with you for the next few months. It wasn't a coincidence, it was a sign. Have you ever felt that there is a strange, heavy pressure on your chest that grows specifically when things are finally starting to work out? As if an invisible hand were pulling you backward right at the finish line. And as if something inside you knew that not every smile around you is genuine, but your rational mind still refuses to accept it. And what if this sequence of delays, this sudden exhaustion, and these closed doors are not just bad luck, but a clear sign that the universe is trying to show you the spiritual envy surrounding your path? While most people pretend that envy does not affect them, few realize that every stalled phase can carry an unspoken look, a silent drain, and an invisible siege that hasn't been cut yet. But what if the great turning point is in this revelation that you haven't been able to apply yet? Now think with me. Why does everything stall in your life right when it is about to work out? What if every project that died the night before, every compliment with a bitter aftertaste, every flawless effort of yours going unnoticed, every heavy energy after certain encounters, and this constant feeling of being closely watched, are signs of a spiritual envy that you have ignored for too long? It was searching for answers to this that I found this digital book called The Great Secret Behind the Spiritual Envy Against Virgo. This book is not just a read, it is a revelation created for Virgos who wish to understand where this paralyzing energy comes from, cut the invisible cords of envy and silent sabotage, and shield your energy to finally step into your power without fear of being seen. Many Virgos already feel that they need to protect themselves from this energy surrounding them. But they haven't yet made the decision to download the digital book. Download it right now. It is available in the first pinned comment. But pay attention, the access could be taken offline at any moment. It reveals reflections, hidden signs and directions that can transform your path completely. Do not wait for another hard-earned victory to be sabotaged at the last second before you decide to seek protection. Click now, download your copy, and discover why the envy that tried to dim your light might be the exact proof that the universe has prepared a brilliance for you that is simply too big to go unnoticed. You are still processing this right now, feeling that chill of recognition on the back of your neck. If this first word has already touched something deep inside you, write "My light is mine" down below, not for me, but because another Virgo who is standing exactly where you were a year ago needs this message to find them tonight. This path has a map, and it is already within your reach in the first pinned comment. In a moment, I will return to it. And if for some reason you are not interested or cannot acquire the digital book right now, there is still another door open for you. I do not receive a single cent for any of these messages that I deliver here every day. Nothing at all. And yet they keep coming out every day for you and for every Virgo that still needs to be reached. If at any moment your heart wants to give back a little of what it received, there is a voluntary donation link open in the first pinned comment, right below the book. Any amount that fits in your hand today, any amount that your heart points to. This is what keeps this channel standing. This is what makes the next message reach another Virgo tomorrow, exactly as it reached you today. I will wait for you there, Virgo. I haven't even told you the most important thing yet. There are 4 signs that this siege is already acting upon you, and you are going to recognize at least one. I want you to step away from the noise of the day for just a second. Lower your shoulders. Let go of that tension you always carry without realizing it. This is not about abstract theories. This is about what is physically, undeniably happening in your life right now. Notice how your body reacts to what I am going to say now, Virgo. There is a pattern playing out in your days, hiding in plain sight. It operates quietly, masking itself as mere coincidence or routine stress, hoping you will never connect the dots. But the universe always leaves traces when something is out of balance. Every time you try to step into a new chapter, this energy actively tests your walls, hoping to find a crack. Listen closely to what happens next, because you are going to recognize this intimately. Think about that heavy, suffocating silence in the room right after you shared a piece of good news at the dinner table. You announced a victory, a hard-earned step forward. But instead of genuine warmth, you felt a sudden drop in the temperature, a dense energy that made you want to take your words back. It wasn't a lack of interest. It was your energetic field warning you that not every smile was celebrating your victory. You called it overthinking and paranoia. The universe called it a heightened spiritual perception. Then there is the sudden, inexplicable exhaustion that hits you entirely out of nowhere at 3 p.m., right after presenting a flawless project or handling a difficult situation perfectly. You did all the heavy lifting, but your legs feel like lead and your mind fogs up. That wasn't just physical tiredness from a demanding schedule. It was an invisible drain actively feeding off your effort, pulling away your vitality when you should be shining. You called it an unexplainable physical exhaustion. The universe called it a silent, energetic drain. And what about the closed door on a Friday afternoon? The answer that was 99% guaranteed, perfectly aligned, and inexplicably vanished. For some of you, this shows up in your career, the promotion that mysteriously goes to someone who did half the work. For others, it is in your finances, the unexpected bill arriving the exact day you save money. It wasn't random misfortune, it was the siege acting at the exact moment of your breakthrough. You called it bad luck at the finish line. The universe called it an invisible siege. Finally, there is that deeply bitter aftertaste you get from a specific person's compliment. It is the praise that sounds like a subtle critique, the congratulation that feels exactly like a heavy weight placed onto your shoulders. Your rational mind immediately tries to convince you that they meant well, that you are just being too sensitive. But your body knows the truth. That wasn't you being insecure. It was your intuition detecting the hidden envy wrapped in sweet words. These signs have a common origin, Virgo, and it has a name. But before the name, you need something else. There is a path of protection, and I am going to open it right now, before the name, before the word, because whoever carries the weight of this invisible siege needs relief before receiving the revelation. Stay. And it is exactly here that the path of protection opens. The signs that just hit you did not hit by chance, Virgo. You are carrying that cold shadow that drops over you, right when you feel you are finally making progress. It is a very specific kind of exhaustion that defies all logic. You take 2 massive steps forward, you align every single detail of your life with perfect precision, and just as your hand touches the doorknob of a new reality, the atmosphere violently changes. You walk into a room and your chest tightens, as if your intuition was screaming that the environment is hostile, but you keep trying to act normal. You force a polite smile. You rationalize the heavy energy. You convince yourself that you are just tired, that you are just overthinking the silence that followed your good news. But what if this sudden block isn't a failure, but the universe exposing the exact cord you need to cut? I have seen Virgos who were exactly where you are right now. Virgo feels. Virgo perceives. Virgo notices the microscopic detail that no one else noticed. And because you see everything, you also feel the exact moment when the room stops clapping for you. I have watched brilliant minds dim their own light just to make the moths comfortable. They were exhausted from building perfect foundations, only to watch someone else proudly take the keys. They hid their victories, they stopped announcing their plans, and they accepted the silent drain as if it were a normal, inevitable part of their routine. They thought they were just unlucky. They thought they were simply not working hard enough. But it is not a lack of effort. It is not bad luck. It is an unshielded energetic field in a spiritual battlefield they did not even know existed. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. You are still processing this right now, feeling that chill of recognition on the back of your neck. The doors that slammed shut at the last second. The friends who disappeared the moment you succeeded. The weight of carrying judgments no one says out loud. It is precisely to provide this shield that I am sharing this digital book called The Great Secret Behind the Spiritual Envy Against Virgo. This digital book is not just a collection of comforting words. It is the definitive map to identify the exact source of this draining energy that has been secretly following you for years. It reveals how to dismantle the hidden traps placed in your path right before your moments of glory. It teaches you how to raise a barrier so thick and absolute that no heavy look can ever cross it again, because envy cannot touch what it cannot see, and the siege only has power while you remain blind to it. This cosmic window does not wait. The universe is exposing the thieves right now so you can lock the doors today. Do not wait for the next blockage to understand what this one came to teach you. Every single week without this path is another hard-earned victory given away to the shadows. Every month without this shield is another layer of heavy energy settling on your shoulders. Every time you choose to ignore this call, you allow the invisible drain to feast on your efforts right at the finish line. The digital book is in the first pinned comment. Download it right now while this word is still alive inside you. This is the complete shielding of this energetic siege that only this map provides entirely. Notice your breathing right now, Virgo. Notice how your rational mind is finally resting because someone finally named the weight you have been carrying alone. Imagine that invisible fortress rising from the ground brick by golden brick. For years you have walked as a house with no doors, allowing any passing storm, any greedy look, and any unspoken judgment to blow right through your halls. You absorbed it all like a sponge. But the stones are in your hands now. You do not have to hide the architect anymore. You just have to build the walls. When the shield is raised, the heavy looks simply bounce back to their senders, leaving you completely untouched. You reclaim your space. You reclaim your energy. Your light becomes exclusively yours again. And as I told you earlier, Virgo, besides the digital book that is in the first pinned comment, there is that voluntary donation link open right below the book. I still do not receive a single cent for every message that goes out from here to you. That is why this link exists, so that another Virgo tomorrow will find exactly this message that found you today. Any amount that your heart points to. Every gesture like this keeps our channel standing and makes the next message reach who needs it, exactly as it reached you today. There is an ancient name for this. And now, with the path laid before you, the name descends. You have spent years trying to find a logical explanation for why things always seem to hit a wall exactly when you are 1 inch away from victory. You blamed your own timing, constantly analyzing what you could have done differently. You questioned your own competence. You thought you were just not working hard enough, or that you had simply miscalculated the steps. But the truth is entirely different, Virgo. It is not a flaw in your strategy. It is not bad luck. It is the karmic exposure transit. This is a specific, potent cosmic window that forces every hidden intention around you into the blinding light. For so long, you have been operating under an invisible siege, a quiet, energetic drain that attaches itself to your accomplishments before you even get the chance to celebrate them. The universe is not pausing your life to punish you. The karmic exposure transit is actually a profound rescue mission. It is the universe violently tearing down that invisible siege before it can consume your next big victory. This transit is the exact reason why the inexplicable delays are happening to you right now. The cosmos is freezing your progress just long enough so you can clearly identify the spiritual envy that has been silently holding you back. It is pulling the veil off the people and the environments that feed on your light. Once you recognize this dynamic, this cosmic window becomes your ultimate green light. The siege is dismantled, and your path is instantly cleared. Think about the silent architect. Imagine the master builder who lays the strongest foundation in absolute silence. You are the one who stays late into the night, meticulously checking every single stone, carrying the heavy beams while everyone else is comfortably sleeping. You do the heavy lifting without ever complaining. You ensure the structure is absolutely flawless, resilient enough to withstand any storm. But the moment the building is finished, when the grand opening arrives and the ribbon is about to be cut, you deliberately step back into the shadows. You let others take the credit. You let them stand in the applause. And you do this simply to avoid the greedy, heavy looks of those who could never build what you built. You hide your brilliance because you have learned, through painful experience, that standing in the light attracts the invisible siege. You genuinely think that by staying small, quiet, and out of sight, you are keeping yourself safe from the spiritual envy. You believe your humility is your shield. That is exactly where you are right now, Virgo. But the universe is about to show you a harsh, liberating truth. Hiding the architect does not protect the beautiful house. It only invites thieves. It leaves the doors wide open for anyone to walk in, claim your energy, and drain the vitality out of your perfectly constructed plans. You cannot protect your territory by pretending you do not own it. I have watched you swallow your own pride just to keep the peace at a crowded table. I saw you actively shrink your massive presence so that others would not feel intimidated by your natural greatness. I felt the deep exhaustion you carried after walking into rooms you did not even want to enter, absorbing the heavy judgments of people who secretly wish they had your strength. You have been fighting this invisible battle entirely alone. But the time for hiding your light is over. I am exposing these hidden shadows now to finally set you free. There is a man who carried this exact same invisible siege for years without even knowing its name. Every time he was about to sign a life-changing contract or step into a beautiful, hard-earned new chapter, everything would mysteriously fall apart at the very last second. He would watch the opportunity slip right through his fingers. He would instantly look in the mirror and think he wasn't good enough. He blamed his own skills, spending sleepless nights trying to perfect a craft that was already flawless. And then, he finally realized the pattern. He recognized that the sudden exhaustion and the last-minute closed doors always followed a specific interaction. He stopped announcing his moves before they were completely sealed. He stopped seeking validation from rooms that wanted him to fail. He raised his invisible walls brick by brick. What changed in his life wasn't his immense talent, and it certainly wasn't his impeccable work ethic. It was his protection. He learned to cut the cord before the spiritual envy could even travel through it. Once the shield was up, the siege starved to death, and his life finally moved forward. You are sitting there right now taking a deep breath as you feel the tension slowly leaving your neck, realizing that this exact pattern has been secretly writing the story of your last few months. You feel a sudden sense of relief washing over your chest because the invisible weight finally has a name. The deepest truth is still ahead, and it has your name. The revelation of this cosmic transit changes everything, but it means absolutely nothing until you recognize exactly who you have been inside of it. The universe is not just removing the invisible siege, it is violently stripping away the false identities you adopted to survive it. It is not a flaw in your design. It is not a sudden lack of competence. It is a profound identity shift. You are not the victim of bad luck, and you are certainly not a magnet for failure. You just need to look closely at the roles you have been playing in the dark, because one of them is about to be retired forever. Virgo carries, Virgo sustains. Virgo does not ask for applause, only for peace. For years, you have been the silent builder, who works in the shadows to avoid the evil eye. You mastered the art of constructing massive success without making a sound, hoping that if no one heard you building, no one would come to tear it down. But your vulnerability is precisely your silence. By never claiming your space, you let others believe they could easily take it from you. You have also been the exhausted empath who carries the weight of a room they didn't even want to enter. Virgo feels the microscopic shifts in the atmosphere. You walk into a space and instantly absorb the unspoken judgments and the hidden jealousies of everyone around you. Your deepest vulnerability is your vast compassion. You mistakenly believed that if you carried everyone else's pain, they would finally stop aiming their envy at your joy. But right now, you are stepping into your true form. You are the shielded phoenix who will rise from the ashes of every sabotaged plan. The universe is forging you into someone who no longer hides their brilliance to make others comfortable. You are learning that your past vulnerability was just the raw material for your new armor. You will not just recover from the inexplicable delays, you will rise completely untouchable. Notice your chest right now, Virgo. Take a deep breath and feel the exact space where that heavy pressure used to sit just a few minutes ago. This warmth spreading through you has a name. It is the undeniable recognition of your own power. You are not crazy. You are not broken. You are simply a massive force of light that finally understands it needs to be protected. The invisible walls are rising around you, and the true architect is finally stepping out of the shadows to claim the keys to the house. But this identity that has just been declared over your life needs to be sustained, because the Virgo who knows their own value without knowing the spiritual siege that surrounds them will eventually go back to carrying heavy looks that are not theirs. To anchor this new reality, you need the tools found in this digital book called The Great Secret Behind the Spiritual Envy Against Virgo. It is available right now in the first pinned comment. Do not wait for the heavy looks to return before you build the walls to protect your new foundation. You need to seal this energy immediately. You must arm yourself with this knowledge to sustain the unshakable identity that has just been declared over your life. I promised I would return to this. We must expose the exact weapons you will use, but before that, you need to know how this cycle will try to come back, because it will try. I promised you that we must expose the exact weapons you will use, but before you raise your shield, you must recognize exactly how this invisible cycle will desperately try to sneak back into your life over the next few days. Because the moment you build a wall, the shadows look for a crack. The siege knows it has been exposed, Virgo. So its first tactic will be disguising itself as your own logic. It will plant a seed of doubt that sounds exactly like your own inner voice, quietly whispering that you are not quite ready yet, that this new chapter is too big for you, that you need to perfect just one more detail before you step forward. That is not your perfectionism speaking. That is the energy trying to stall you. When you feel that sudden doubt creeping in, this is your weapon. You will stand firm and you will speak out loud. My path is already paved. The second tactic is the trap of validation. For some of you, this happens in moments of sudden, innocent excitement about a career move or a new relationship. You will feel an overwhelming, inexplicable urge to share a fragile, unfinished plan with someone who never claps for you. The siege wants you to expose your gold before it is completely secure, knowing their heavy look will drain it. When you feel that urge bubbling in your throat, this is your weapon. Physically lock your fingers together, hold that tension in your hands and say, "My secret stays in the vault." The third tactic is the emotional anchor of the past. You will feel a sudden, heavy guilt for outgrowing certain places and people. The spiritual envy will try to convince your compassionate heart that moving forward means you are selfishly abandoning those who stayed behind. But you cannot shrink your universe just to fit inside someone else's comfortable box. When that misplaced guilt hits your chest and tries to pull you backward, this is your weapon. Take a deep breath, fill your lungs completely, and say, "I am allowed to move forward." These three weapons protect you from what I managed to show you today, but the cycle has more layers than can fit in one video. The invisible drain operates in deep shadows that require a much stronger light. Think about what happens when the compliment sounds bitter again, when the project tries to stall on the eve, when the unexplainable exhaustion hits you after a meeting. You need the complete map of the protection you are still missing, so this siege never catches you off guard again. This is why you must have this digital book called The Great Secret Behind the Spiritual Envy Against Virgo. I am not rushing you. I am warning you. Do not wait for the next invisible attack to finally open the map. The cosmic window that is exposing this spiritual envy right now is a rare alignment, and it will not stay open forever. Leaving your energetic field unshielded in the middle of a massive transition is exactly what the silent drain is hoping you will do. The map is right there in the first pinned comment. And now, Virgo, I need you to stop learning for a moment and start feeling. I need you to close your eyes for a moment, or just lower your gaze if you cannot. Drop your shoulders right now. Take one deep breath, slowly. Exhale. Allow that constant, vigilant tension you carry in your neck and your jaw to finally dissolve. You do not have to hold everything together in this exact second. Let your guard down, Virgo. You have been fighting an invisible battle for so long that your body has almost forgotten how it feels to just exist, without bracing for the next sudden impact. But in this specific space we are creating right now, you are completely out of reach. Nobody can drain you here. The siege cannot touch you. You are safe to just be. Imagine standing in the center of a perfectly clear room. With every breath you take in, a warm, golden light starts to pour down from above, covering your shoulders, instantly washing away that heavy tension in your neck. As you exhale, imagine a thick, invisible wall rising from the floor, brick by golden brick, wrapping entirely around you. You can feel the safety of this barrier. Every heavy look, every unspoken judgment, and every bitter compliment that hits this wall instantly bounces back to its sender. You are completely sealed inside your fortress. For years you have walked as a house with no doors, where any passing storm could blow right through your halls, but right now you hold the keys and the locks are turning. Your energy is finally your own. Release the weight of the heavy looks you absorb from people who secretly wish they had your strength. Release the guilt of outgrowing the places that only wanted to keep you small and contained. Release the fear of shining your incredible light just because it might expose someone else's shadow. Release the silent exhaustion of building massive foundations for people who will never even say thank you. Let it all go. You are no longer the silent builder who works in the shadows just to avoid the evil eye. You are no longer the exhausted empath carrying the weight of a room you did not even want to enter. You are the shielded phoenix, completely untouchable, rising from the ashes of every sabotaged plan with a brilliance that can never be dimmed again. You can feel the exact shift happening in your chest right now. That suffocating pressure has vanished, replaced by an absolute certainty that your path is finally cleared. Before we seal this, write down below the name of someone you are carrying with you in this crossing, or, if this is for you, write in one sentence what you are expecting the universe to return to you. I will read it, and you will not write this alone. Do not let go of this energy yet. We are not done. Stay with me. The walls around your house are completely sealed. The massive efforts you have been making in silence are now protected from any greedy eyes, and everything that is meant to arrive in this new chapter is finally shielded from the invisible drain. I have watched you carry the suffocating silence in that room when nobody celebrated your victory, and I knew you thought it was your fault. I felt the immense exhaustion hitting your body right after you poured your heart into a flawless project, and I saw how you blamed your own stamina instead of recognizing the invisible drain. I saw you swallow that good news at the table because something warned you it wasn't safe to share. You tried to convince yourself it was just paranoia, but I was the one pulling the alarm inside your chest, begging you to protect your gold. I watched the doors slam shut on Friday afternoons, the perfectly aligned plans that vanished right at the 99% mark. You thought you were unlucky, but it was me violently intervening, exposing the siege before it could consume your entire foundation. I felt the bitter aftertaste of every compliment you received from those who secretly wished they had your strength. You shrank yourself to make them comfortable, dimming the exact light I gave you, just to keep a fragile peace that was never real. I am tearing down this invisible siege right now, because your path is finally paved. You do not have to hide the architect anymore, because the walls you are building today will bounce every shadow back to where it belongs. The doubt that sounds exactly like your own inner voice telling you that you are not ready ends here. The sudden urge to share a fragile plan with someone who never claps for you ends here. The guilt for outgrowing the places and the people that only wanted to keep you small ends here. Virgo has never been cold. Virgo is not envied for being demanding. Virgo is envied for quietly delivering what others only promise out loud. Don't let go yet. The universe has just told you. I saw you swallow that good news at the table because something warned you it wasn't safe to share. And that is exactly why I need to remind you of one thing before sealing. What was cut here is real. But tomorrow morning, the world will try to convince you that nothing has changed. That heavy gaze that will try to sit on your shoulders again tomorrow morning will test the boundaries of this new reality. The sudden blocks, the bitter compliments, the unspoken judgments will try to find a crack in your walls. You need the ultimate companion for this protection, which is this digital book called The Great Secret Behind the Spiritual Envy Against Virgo. It is waiting for you right now in the first pinned comment. This is the definitive guide for sustaining the shield that was built in this crossing so it is never lost. Do not wait for tomorrow to test the protection that was raised today. Go to the first pinned comment right now and download your copy. There are thousands of Virgos listening to this right now, feeling this exact same relief in the exact same silence as you. You are not fighting this invisible battle alone anymore. If this voice found you today, subscribe to the channel, not for numbers, but because the next message in this series will look exactly for those who have already crossed this first one. In the next video of this series, I am going to show you the exact sign that appears 3 days before the siege falls, and why almost every Virgo completely ignores it. Do not miss it. And still in this video, Virgo, before I seal this hour with you, I come back one last time to this request. You have walked with me this far. You have crossed every word, every revelation, every sign. And if at any moment of this message you felt the universe touch you, you know this video was not an accident. The voluntary donation link remains open in the first pinned comment, right below the digital book. Not as a charge, not as an exchange, but as a giving back from the one who received to the source this message came from. Any amount your heart points to, and the universe sees every gesture. The universe sees, and the universe multiplies over your home, over your days, over what you don't even know is about to arrive. This was my last request. I'll be waiting for you there. Thank you so much. And when the heavy look tries to return, remember that the answer has a name, the great secret of spiritual envy, and it is already within your reach. The invisible fortress is complete, standing tall from the floor to the sky, wrapping around you in a warm golden light. The stones are firmly in place, and the master builder can finally rest inside the beautiful house without ever fearing the greedy looks outside. Now you can let go. This message is complete. What was seen was seen. What was cut was cut. Walk light, Virgo.